Hello everyone, welcome back to LetUsCloud. My name is Venkatesh, and in today's video, let us explore one of the newest services that AWS has recently announced, AWS PartyRock and Amazon Bedrock Playground. Now I am on what's new with AWS page, and I'll quickly scroll down, and on the bottom of the page you can see what are the recent announcement from AWS, and also on the left hand side you see that you have a filter that you can filter by the category. And today we're going to look into an interesting announcement AWS made in machine learning category. So I'll select machine learning here, scroll up a bit, and then this is the service I'm talking about, the AWS PartyRock, which is based out of Amazon Bedrock. So let me open this. So on November 16th is when AWS announced PartyRock, which is an Amazon Bedrock playground. It's a fun and intuitive hands-on generative AI app building playground. So, and within just few steps, you can create a variety of apps to experiment with generative AI. You can create your own AI applications and you don't need to know any kind of coding languages, right? So we'll explore more about it. We'll build our own app using a PartyRock and see how it works. Okay, and this PartyRock is powered by Amazon Bedrock, which is again an AWS service for a generative AI based on the foundation modules. And the interesting part here is you don't need to know how to write a single line of a code to start creating or owning your app. So with a simple web-based UI, you can create your own application, and then you can also share it with your friends. So we'll explore all that with a simple application that we are going to build. And also, if you see, for a limited time, AWS is offering new PartyRock users a free trial without the need to provide any credit card. And also, you don't have to have an AWS account. You can just log in with probably a Google account or an Amazon account and then start creating your own application. So here is another blog by Jeff Barr highlighting how you can join the party or basically create an account, and then how you can quickly get started with creating an application, right? Let's try that out. I mean, the document here displays about how you can sign in and then what are the options available, and then how you can build your application and how you can even customize as you require. So all the details are here. I'll share this link in the description, but let's create an app, or let's sign into an account and see how we can generate or create our own application. So this is the user interface, partyrock.aws, simple UI, or probably party kind of an UI, I would say. And if you see here, you have an option to sign in. So I'll just click on sign in. So you can sign in through Google or an Apple ID or with Amazon. So let me try with Google. So I'll choose my Google account. Enter my password. So it's asking me to set up an username. So I'll set up an username here. And then your country and the location, and then you can just click on submit. Okay, place a dot at the end of the car path. I believe this should be the one. So now your account is created, and then see here you should see a list of application, but right now I don't have an application, but we will create one, and this should be the first interface that you should see, and you have different options here. The next, some of the sample applications. Let's do one thing. Let's create our own app, right? Build your own app. So let me describe my application, what I want to build. So I'll say create an simple app to explain AWS services, and then use AWS service name as input, provide output in bullet format. A plain English, I have provided the prompt saying create a simple app to explain AWS services, use AWS service name as input, and provide output in bullet format. So now all I have to do is I have to just click on generate app. Okay, I'm clicking on generate app and then wait for PartyRock to create my app. So now I have my application created or my app created, and my app name is AWS Service Explainer. I can always rename it to more appropriate name as you require. And then if you see here, there's a description around it. This app will take an AWS service name as an input and generate bullet list of explanation of that particular service. So here is an input prompt that you can enter AWS service name and you should get the explanation around that AWS service. Right, so let's try that. So before that, we can also customize these widgets and you can move around these widgets to suit your need. So in order to do that, what you have to do is you just click on this edit button over here, and then you can play around these widgets and then move them to your left, to your right, and then adjust the size of it. So I'll keep this one here and then probably adjust this further. Okay, this should be fine. And then probably I'll move this over here. Now let's see how my app is working, right? So I'll just input a simple service. I'll say AWS S3 and see what kind of explanation do I get. As you can see, you're getting a simple explanation around AWS S3. The simple storage service is an object storage service provided by AWS. It provides a scalable storage through web service interface. Customers can use S3 to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. Okay, let's try another service. I'll say AWS. Okay, let me search EC2. Okay, again, it starts providing with a simple explanation around Elastic Compute Cloud. What is EC2? It stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. The web service provides secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud, right? And a couple of other details around EC2. Now let's explore more around the application, how you can customize. Here you have option to copy the output generated to your clipboard and then make a note of it. And then you can also click on a retry button to get a different kind of explanation. You can also edit your prompt. I can click on edit button and let's see what else you have, right? So here you can, the title of your widget, right? So here it says service explanation, that you can modify as you require. And then the foundation modules that you want to use, you can select among the available ones. The current one is Claude Instant, right? You can also select Claude or a Jurassic 2 Mid, Jurassic 2 Ultra. And then if you see what we prompted for an application is something different, and what the PartyRock has taken as input is different, right? But you can always customize this. You can always change this prompt to meet your need. So here it says generate a bullet list of explanation for the AWS service with a service name. So if I point here, it takes to that particular widget. And then in the advanced settings, you have something called temperature and top P. You can adjust the value from 0 to 1. And these are more useful when you want your AI to be more creative or you want them to be more realistic. So these are the parameters that you can use, and then you can save it. You can even add additional widgets that not only just about the app you created, right? Now let's say let's add additional widget. Okay, and then I will again go with the text generation. Now this widget 3, I want to configure this for, let's say, the pricing, right? I want to know what is the pricing of a particular AWS services, right? Okay, I'll use the same model here. Then here I'll say provide me with pricing details of the AWS service, right? Whatever you have input, I need to know what kind of pricing does this have, right? I'll say this and then I will save it. So I have the pricing model here. I'll just say retry. If you see here, how does your EC2 gets priced, right? You can get some details around this, like for example, the on demand. Let me increase this. It has given me details around pricing. The on demand is how they are charged. Basically, these allow you to pay for the compute capacity by the hour with no long-term commitment. And then you have reserved instances, you have spot instances, you have dedicated instance, all the details around pricing. It also gives me a details around, like for a free tier, when you create a new AWS account, you're eligible for a limited free tier that includes 750 hours per month of Linux T2 micro, and it's applicable for Windows as well. You get all the details about your pricing, right? Let me add one more widget that says, okay, I'll go with Okay, I'll call this, let's say, use cases. I'll say provide me some real-time use cases of the AWS service name, right? I'll save it. Okay, now I should have here, I'll just retry. If you see here, it starts populating me the use cases, right? Where I can use the EC2 services. I can use it for a web hosting, application hosting, for backup and disaster recovery, and other stuffs. Now I can also customize this. I can move these widgets around. Let me bring this up here. So I have an app that explains me the AWS service in a very simple term. It also gives me details around the pricing of it and what are some of the real-time use cases of that particular service, right? Let's try one more service. Let's try RDS, Relational Database Service. Okay, it has not yet taken. Okay, now it started. So what is RDS? And then at the same time, it starts populating how the RDS is charged. And at the same time, it also starts giving you some real-time use cases around RDS. Okay, so now let's try one more interesting feature of AWS PartyRock. And for this, I'm going to go back to my AWS EC2 instance type. Let's say t2.micro. Okay, I'll let the PartyRock give me explanation around t2.micro and the pricing around t2.micro and the use cases of t2.micro. Now I'm going to add additional widget, and this is the interesting feature I was talking about. You have something called the chatbot. So let me add a chatbot here. Okay, so I'll call this AWS service chatbot maybe. And here there's a prompt that says that pretend you are a character named AWS service name. The user will now have conversation with you. Okay, this should fine for me, and then I will save it. So let's see what does the chatbot does, right? How does it help us, or how interactive is this? So I will ask the chatbot, let's say hello first. Hello. Okay, it says I'm an EC2 name t2.micro. That is fine. Let me see. I'm going to ask this bot, tell me more about you. So it starts giving me details again around T2 Micro, what it is. It says that I'm one of the smaller and more basic instance types available for Amazon E2, right? And what are the use cases and all those things. Okay. And here is more interesting stuff. I'll ask the bot, how about T2.large? So now it starts comparing itself with the T2 large instances and what kind of the hardware it has, what kind of hardware does T2.micro has, and the other stuff like what kind of use cases and how do they differ, right? I can also do a comparison between T2 micro and maybe M4 large, right? I can ask the bot, can you please compare yourself to M4.large? Okay, so it starts comparing its hardware specification and its use cases with M4, and then starts providing you with the CPU, the details around it. So it says that the key difference between T2 micro and the M4 large is that M4 is not burstable instance like T2, and it has 2 CPU and 8 GB of memories like the T2 large again. But since it is not a burstable, M4 large may provide more consistent performance for workloads that need steady CPU power. So this is more interactive and you can start comparing different EC2 instance type. The same thing you can also use for, let's say you want to compare storage classes for S3. You want to compare S3 standard with S3 standard infrequently accessed or with Glacier. So these are something that you can do with the help of a bot, and it's more interactive, not that the information is not available on the internet, but it is more interactive way of knowing things and you can learn in a much better fashion. Okay, so I will probably adjust these widgets as I require. Okay, this should be fine. So overall, I have an app, AWS Service Explainer app ready, and I have built this app without a single piece of code and with a simple plain English. And this app takes AWS service name as an input. Right? I provide a service name here and it takes as input and then provides me with a simple explanation around that particular service. It also provides me with the pricing detail and some real-time use cases. And we also saw how I can interact with a chatbot, try to compare the service with the different types and learn from it. All right, so now we have built an app and this is currently private. As you can see, your app is private. That means only I can access this particular app. Now, to make this app public and share it with your friends, all you have to do is click on this particular button here. It says make public and share. So I'll just click on this. Now, if you see, my app is now public. So anyone with this link can now see and use and remix your app. So remix is that you can copy this app and then make your own app similar to this particular app. I can just copy this to a clipboard, okay, and I can share it with my friends. Okay, I'll share this link in the comment section. Please use this app and let me know what you feel about this app. Okay, I'll close this and then so I can click on my apps here to go to a list of apps that I have built. I can again go to a particular app and I can edit this app, add more widgets, and then again share it with my friends. If I have to share it, I can just click on this as I just copied. Then I can open it here. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave this app link in the description below. Please do try it out. Please do let me know what you feel about AWS PartyRock, what you feel about this particular app that I have created. Please do use PartyRock, create your own apps and share the app link in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.